friends, and welcome back to our 7-day project challenge. So today is day 6, and I thought it would actually be pretty cool if we did a project that I've never done before. I bought some shadow boxes from Michael's a while back, and I've been kind of doing some research on different ways to decorate them using the Cricut. So today's video, I decided to try layering cardstock to decorate the inside of a shadow box. And surprisingly, it's actually pretty easy. So if you want to see how I went about making this shadow box, keep watching. Alright, so in Design Space, the first thing I did was make a square 8x8 because that is the size of my shadow box. Then I just duplicated it twice. Now one of them I kept solid just the way it was, but the very last one I resized down an inch to 7x7 so I could center it in the middle of that first box and then slice the two of them to make a frame. So after I sliced them, I just deleted both of the middles. The square that I left solid is going to be my very back layer, so I changed the color to blue for my sky. Then I just duplicated that frame several times because I was going to need a lot. I did select all of them to center them together just so I could see how the picture was coming together. I did decide to use images from Design Space, so the first image I looked for were some clouds. One of the things that I noticed in all of the videos I watched was everybody made sure that their images made contact with the frame that they were working on for that layer. So once I get both of my clouds resized and where I want them, I'm going to go ahead and select both of my clouds and the frame by holding down the control button, and then I just weld them together. That makes them one layer. Then I just changed the color and I just drug that layer down right above the blue one so I could unhide my next frame. Now, because this was my first time doing a shadow box, I was more cautious about making sure my frame stayed centered the whole time. So every time I added a new frame, I selected all of my layers, including the new frame, to align and center them before I added any other images. And same thing here with this hill. Once I get it kind of in place, I'm going to select the hill and the frame, weld them together, change the color back to green, then just drag that hill layer down so it's above my clouds, and then I'm just going to unhide my next frame. And again, here I select everything, go to align and center them. I was paranoid that it was going to end up off-centered and it wouldn't line up when I started to glue them all together. Now these trees were a little bit different because I had the green layer on top of the brown layer and I did want to keep both colors. So after I got them resized and positioned on there where I wanted, I selected both of my brown back layers and the frame to weld those together. Then I changed the color back to brown and sent both of the little bushy tops to the front so then I could select the tops and that brown layer to group it all together. I did not want to create another green layer because I wanted to be able to glue those bushy tops directly onto the brown bottoms. Now, I did decide to add a couple bushes, but I didn't want the flowers or those little lines, so I deleted the flowers and just hid all the contours on the bush. But I decided I needed another hill first, so I did end up adding another hill layer, and same thing. Once I got it sized the way that I wanted, I ended up selecting that and the frame layer to weld them together. But on this one, I actually had a little gap down in the corner after I welded them that I wanted to go away. So the easiest way to make that go away was to go into contour and just select that part so it would disappear. Then I just changed the color to a darker green. Now I was ready to add the bushes to a layer, but I wasn't quite sure if I wanted them on top of the grass or behind the grass. So I did just kind of go through and just resize them and move them around till I liked the way that they looked on the layer. And instead of actually just welding them together, I grouped them together and then figured out where I wanted them on the layers tab, because after arranging them on that top layer, I didn't like the way that that looked. I wanted them to be a little bit farther behind the layers. So I decided to put them behind that light green layer. So then I welded them together, changed the color, and moved them down so they were behind both of my hill layers. I think that was the coolest thing about this project, was just because I had already put layers on top and I wanted those bushes to be between some of the layers I already made. This was super easy to go in and fix that, to change where the layers sat. And I don't know, I really enjoyed that it was easy to customize the layers and it was easy to adjust where they all fell together. And here I go again, choosing an image with multiple colors. So I actually decided to make 2 different layers out of this green with the flag. So first thing I did was ungroup them so that I could take the brown layer and the frame and weld them together to make my brown layer. Then I selected the ball, the flag, and the green to group them together so it moved them all to the top. Then I just ungrouped them again so that I could weld a new frame with the green together to make my green layer. Now I thought about it and I decided not to add another layer for the flag or the ball, so I just grouped them with the green layer that I just made. Don't let this video fool you. It took me about an hour and a half to get this fully designed because I was unsure of how it all worked, and I really want this shadow box to turn out the way that I want. So just be patient, take your time, and if you want to delete and start over, do it. Just be sure that your images make contact with your frame so that you can weld them together to make that layery effect. Well, now I'm done designing, so it's time to actually cut the cardstock. In one of the videos that I watched, the lady recommended using the cardstock setting for intricate cuts, so I just went to browse materials, searched cardstock, and it was the very first setting on my list. Alright, so the cardstock that I will be using is, I think the company's name is Nina. It's the Creative Collection. I got it off of Amazon. I will include a link below. It is actually pretty lightweight cardstock. It's only 65 pounds, which the lightest one I saw on the Cricut was 80. So I decided to do the cardstock intricate. I heard that that's also best for these shadow boxes, and I've never done one, so we're just kind of test this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all the colors lined up for all the different cuts and cut it all, and yeah, then we'll see how it goes from there. Alright, first cut is done. Let's see how well it did. Wow, that came off super easy. And check it out, I have my clouds. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything else cut, and I will come back once I have everything cut, just so this video doesn't have to be any longer than it should be. Alright, so I have all of my different colors of cardstock cut now. I did decide to cut a couple of just the rectangles, well, squares, with the little border to kind of add them as spacers so that I can add a little bit of space between some of the layers. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my shadow boxes so I can get one out. I got this 3-pack at Michael's. Alright, so mine is an 8x8, just normal kind of shadow box thing. So let's start putting the layers together. So I actually have my computer over here so that I can scroll all the way down so I can actually do my layers in the order from back to front. So I'm just kind of able to see that. So my back layer is blue. So there's the blue one. Then my next one is the white one with the clouds. Now I decided not to go straight white, so I went with like a creamish kind of color of white, like that. And before I glue anything down, I want to kind of put it together just so I can see where I want these extra spacers to go, if I want to use them at all. Because I'm thinking I want a couple right here to space the clouds farther back than the trees. So let's go ahead and put the trees on there. And now I have the treetops here cut separate because I did not want another layer. I will just glue them down on top of the tree itself. Actually, I can go ahead and do that now. And of course, I'm just using regular Elmer's purple school glue. I don't have any fancy paper glue or spacers or anything like that. I'm just gluing these down. Okay, so there are my cute little trees. Alright, so I have the trees and I have the clouds. So now I need the bushes, which are these little guys here. Okay, then I need my light green hill, which is this one. I hope this looks really good because I've never tried anything like this. I've wanted to, I just never have. I've never had the cardstock and I finally decided to order it, so I'm kind of excited about this. Then my little green with my flag. Now there I can go ahead and glue my little red flag down. This kind of reminds me of like grade school. Go home and your fingers are covered in glue because you glued papers together all day. Good times, right? Now we do it as adults to relax ourselves. Okay, so now my flag is glued on there. Super cute. And now I need the green one and my little golf ball, which is right here. And put that right there. Like it's nice and close to the hole. So now I need the golf cart. Now the golf cart, the little wheels were detached from it, so I will have to glue them down separately. That looks like really cute, really. Like that looks really cute. So I do think I'm gonna put a couple of these spacers between the clouds and the trees. So there's the clouds. There's everything on top. So I think I'm going to put 2 of those in there. I can always cut more of just the spacers out too if I want just that extra little bit of depth. Let's see here. It looks okay, but I would like just a little bit more space there. Now I'm going to start gluing it all together. So, clouds go on top of the blue. I'm sure there's easier ways to do this, but since I never have done it, I'm just going for it and just doing what I feel is the best way for me to do this. I decided to fast forward through this part of the process because it was pretty simple. All I did was put a layer of the Elmer's glue down along the frame and then just flip over the next layer, press it down really good, and then just repeat that until I had all my layers glued together. So now I just need to add the little wheels. Alright, so this is dry. There is no more purple anywhere. So let's get it framed up. So first thing, actually because I was fingering all over that, I'm going to rub it down with some alcohol. Okay, that should evaporate pretty quick. I did also deplete my golf bag of all of my golf tees, so I can see if this actually looks as cool as I think it's going to look. Alright, let's just try a couple like that, because I want to still be able to see all the little details of this thing, but I think it would be super cool if I got the just right amount in there. Okay, there. Check that out. How cute is that? I love the little golf tees at the bottom just to add that little extra. You can see the tree is away from the clouds and the sky, which makes it even cooler. Honestly, for my first shadow box, I love it. And that wraps up day 6, project 6 of the 7-day project challenge. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow for project 7.